Hi again guys, and welcome to episode 23 of Forget Your Warranty, the review series for Gran Turismo's aftermarket tuner car lineup. And with a number of the models in this series, we often come across the fact that the aftermarket version isn't necessarily that much better than the normal car in terms of value for money and how effective it actually is in racing. Some of them may have slightly better numbers, but not necessarily as much better as you'd probably want, especially when you're shelling out six-figure prices. Now this model does run into the danger of falling into that category. The model in question is an Amuse tuner car, and I like Amuse cars. They look fantastic for one thing, and they tend to be pretty quick, to say the least. This particular car is their only Fair Lady based model, and it's called the 380RS SuperLeggera, a name of course that Lamborghini has also used, and for those who are unfamiliar with the term, it means super light. Now, straight off the bat, that creates kind of a problem for the car, because by calling it super light, you've set a certain level of expectation. Then add on top of that the look of the car, which you have to say is fantastic. This is a great looking machine, possibly the best looking version of the Fair Lady in the game, depending on opinion of course. And then add a 100 grand price tag, and you've really set the expectation bar very, very high for just how much better this car must be than the Nissan version. The problem though is, it's not. In some ways it is better, but this is not as much of a jump over the Nissan version than you'd hope, and that could potentially disappoint some people. Now, it has to be said, as far as aftermarket cars go, you see quite a few people using these, and it definitely isn't a car that will disappoint you. It's not a bad car by any stretch, but consider why I say that. The car is named the 380RS, not the 350RS, and that's notable because the 350 stands for the engine size, and as the name of this one would suggest, the capacity is larger. The engine is a 3.8 litre compared to the normal version's 3.5. Unfortunately though, it's still naturally aspirated, and although in real life naturally aspirated cars are fantastic, they have a purity which I really like, on the game, that's a pretty certain way of not allowing the car to reach its full potential. A turbo or a supercharger could have quite easily been added to this car and unlocked more of that potential. But we're denied that. And although it may seem sometimes that my common complaint on Gran Turismo is that cars aren't powerful enough, that's not what I say at all. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that we're denied the option. If this car could have 2,000 horsepower, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Sure, it would be fun, but it would be next to useless. What I'm saying is that these cars should have the option of better power for those who want it. If we're denied that, well, that's annoying, because it means that you know this car could do better than this, but we're not allowed to reach that. And the more you know about cars, the more annoying it will be for you. If you know next to nothing about engines, what they're capable of, not just on the game but in real life, then it probably won't annoy you as much. But anyone who has a motoring background or who is a petrol head more interested in the way cars work rather than just say how they look or how they sound or how fast they are, then this will most likely annoy you too. That's the case with this model. Now, as the fact is, it's got 563 horsepower, 417 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs a little bit more than a WRC car. Those aren't bad numbers, not at all. But that's only roughly 20 or so horsepower more than the standard car. The weight isn't that great, considering that it's called SuperLeggera. WRC weight isn't bad, but it's not exactly super light. The horsepower per tonne is 456. Not bad, sports car territory, but again, not exactly worthy of a 100 grand price tag, and certainly not worthy of the way the car looks. This is a car which tells you to buy it. It says, look at me, look what I'm probably capable of, and then it just doesn't deliver on that. Now, to be clear, I'm not hating on the car has fans, I'm not one of them, but I do like the way the car looks, and it handles pretty well. It makes a good track car, a good PP racer, and if you're a Fairlady fan, it won't disappoint you. I'm just saying that this car should be better than it is. Given that this is a six-figure vehicle, it should be significantly better than the Nissan version. And the fact is, it just isn't. And in some ways, the Nissan version is better. And probably quite disturbingly, the main way that I would say the Nissan version is better is the handling. This is supposed to be a track-focused vehicle, and it just isn't. It's okay around corners, but the normal 350Z from Nissan is a phenomenal car around corners. One of the best imports, in fact, I would say, especially rear-wheel drives. This car just doesn't really improve that. So overall, it's perhaps a surprisingly negative review, but I say that because I wish the car could do more. This isn't a car that I hate, or that I think is bad. In fact, the exact opposite. It's a car that I know could be great, and that is why it annoys me that we can't unlock that. Fans of the car deserve more. But overall, if you are a Fairlady fan, as I said, you won't be disappointed. But the most crucial thing I would say about this vehicle is to highlight exactly how good it is or bad it is if you have the option of only buying this or the Nissan version, I would recommend the Nissan. If you have the opportunity to buy both, then buy both. But, purely speaking, for value, for competitive range, etc., the Nissan is better. And it's also faster. But overall, that's it for this particular pick. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, thanks for watching.